Hello, hello, and welcome to Tips and Tricks for a Successful Membership Year. This workshop is brought to you by New York State PTA's membership. First, some housekeeping rules. Please make sure you are muted. In our check-in, we'd like you to use the chat box to put in your name and your PTA or PTSA name. And lastly, feel free to use the chat box to ask any questions you may have. And please take a look because we'll be sharing some links as well. My name is Mary Sotomayor. I'm the membership coordinator for New York State PTA. Did you know that PTA was a verb? PTA is definitely a verb. What we do at PTA is we support your child's potential in many ways. One of which is we invest in your child's potential, we volunteer for your child's potential, and lastly, we advocate for your child's potential. We have some new membership teammates I'd like to introduce to you. Firstly, Renee Daniels, who's our new membership engagement specialist, Jennifer Tulo, who's our marketing specialist, and Mike Keene, who's our male engagement specialist. Both Renee and Mike are presenting today, so you would have seen them either yesterday or today, and make sure to give them a warm hello. Let's be honest, parents are some of the busiest people on earth. And when you add a leadership role in the PTA, it can be tough to juggle responsibilities at home and at school. So how do we strike a good balance between new members, engaging them, then making sure they become members to support your PTA year after year? And that's not even getting into what it takes to support your PTA and keep it running. We understand the challenges associated with managing a PTA. So to help you out, we've put together an ultimate nuts and bolts guide to membership. In it, we'll cover tips and tricks to getting new membership, membership engagement, and lastly, membership retention. So first up, we're going to talk about your membership plan. The first thing you're going to want to do is define your audience. Who is your audience? Everyone. A strong PTA needs the support of moms, dads, family members, teachers, school staff, and community members. Everyone can be a part of your PTA. The name of the game is inclusion, diversity, and you'll have a robust PTA of all kinds of parents and family and community members. Secondly, you're going to want to create some good content. You want to make sure that the things you create are going to entice your new members to want to join your PTA to see how inclusive it is. You can also find content on your local region's website and the New York State PTA's website. I've included a link here for you. If you click on it, and we'll put it in the chat box for you as well, you'll see that there's plenty of good content that you can use, reuse, or modify so it can be unique to your unit. The more content you have, the better. After all, this is what's going to get people to be attracted to your PTA and want to join. The third tip here is you're going to want to share, share, share. Once you've collected all of the PTA content you can find, it's important to share it. You can do this on your PTA's website if you have one for your unit, or your social media platforms, depending on which ones you use. Now, you don't have to have or be on every social media site, but you do want to try to focus on at least 2 or 3 that really make sense for your PTA, either Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Collecting information. Does your unit send out a welcome packet that includes a PTA sign-up sheet? Is it clear what you're looking for on it? When do your members receive it? How often do you send it out to make sure that you cover as many potential families as possible? Do they know how to access the sign-up link if they didn't get a sheet in the mail? or through their child's book bag? Here's a template that we have on our New York State PTA that can help you if you don't have a sign-up sheet. Again, we'll put it in the chat box. Another way that you can help to get as much information about your parents as you can is the online lookup, where they can join your PTA by looking up their school. Again, this link will be available in the chat box. The next thing is, now that we have all this information, we want to stay connected with the members. All of your members, new and old. We touched a little bit on this earlier, but it's worth going back into a little detail here. Once you have someone's name and email address, that's considered gold. This is after they've filled out your form or they've gone online and become a member that way. But once you have this information, you need to stay in touch with them. You want to send them a few valuable items. You want to send them an invite perhaps to an upcoming event like your PTA meeting. And who knows, they may invite someone and that may trigger more people to join your PTA. But we'll be getting into the nitty-gritty of these items in our presentation. Just to recap, you want to define your audience, which is everybody. You want to create some or get some good content, which you can find on your region site, on your New York State PTA site, or in your emails that you would have received from your council, region, or New York State PTA. You want to share the content that you do get. And lastly, you want to make sure to collect as much information about your parents as you can. Welcoming new members. You want to make sure that your welcome is a welcome to everyone. The way you do that is, one, you want to send out a warm welcome message. While this step might seem obvious, you'd be surprised at how many people do not do this. Don't just send a new member a standard email. You want to welcome them, maybe a welcome packet to invite them to your PTA. You want to personalize it, or better yet, you want to have someone give them a call. New members like to be acknowledged, and they'll appreciate the extra effort. I've placed a link to one of our sample thank you letters that I think might be helpful when you're reaching out to new members or returning members. I'll put this in the chat box as well for you to have. Secondly, you want to create some of that content that you just received to cater to new members. Members will be joining your PTA because they believe in the mission, they want to help their children, they want to help their community. But that doesn't mean that they're familiar with all of the resources we have. So you want to make sure to put together some collateral or some pieces as brochures, infographics, blog posts if you have them, or posts from your social media accounts that would specifically show your new members what you're all about. No matter what they are, just make sure it's informative and, more importantly, it's valuable. Three, you want to make sure that you're creating a new member community. Most of you have already done this, but for those of you who haven't, do you have a Facebook page? If you have a place for members other than email, this is a great way to get newcomers involved in your PTA. Not just newcomers, but returning members, so that they know what's going on and what's new and what's relevant. Social media communities allow new members and old to get to know each other. And the more friends a member has in your PTA, the more likely they are to stay. 4, you want to use your PTA's brand ambassador. I know that sounds like a big word, but every PTA has a brand ambassador, or they should. These members are called historians. Does your PTA have one of those? You can go ahead and put that in the chat box. They're members that know everything about your PTA. They might know more about your PTA than anyone else. They're your cheerleaders, they're your champions, and those are the members in your PTA that you want to utilize to make sure they inspire new members and remind returning members why your PTA and our PTA organization is so great. It sounds awesome, right? But you're wondering how. Well, one of the ways that you can make sure that your historian is cheerleading your unit is to make sure that your historian is present at every meeting and event. You want your new members to see just how involved other members are, not to mention all the awesome things that your PTA has already accomplished. That could look like posters, a little photo album of all the things that you've done in the past. It could also be a friendly membership table where your historian is showing all the stuff that you've done in the past, what you plan to do, and where you see them fitting in and how they can help to accomplish your PTA's goals this year. Most important for welcoming a new member is to not forget about them. You want to make sure that you're checking in. Don't just welcome new members once. You want to check in with them periodically to make sure everything's okay. This could be via email. Obviously, it could be a group email. It could be social media, where after they've signed up, you can place a welcome to new members on your social media page, or you can welcome them during your PTA meetings or set aside some time so that they can talk to you if they need to express any concerns, or you can just take the time to say hi to them again so they don't feel like they're all alone. So we are so excited. We now have a bunch of new members. They're on board and they're active. Now the question is, how do you keep them on board and active? Well, it goes back to membership engagement. There are many ways that we can engage PTA members. In fact, I'm going to provide for you a full breakdown of membership engagement ideas that you could try if you haven't already in your unit. Does your unit have a PTA website? Not to worry. Your council, if you have one, your region, and definitely New York State has a website. The reason these websites are important for engagement is because your online member will be able to find everything they're looking for. This is where members will go to for information, event registration specific to your region, and ultimately they're going to find the membership value here. They will find all the things that we're celebrating, all the items that we're doing, contests that we may be holding. Everything should be located in one of these websites. But it takes more than just having a website to encourage member engagement. A little extra TLC is needed, specifically an eye-catching design and up-to-date content. Specifically for a website, we've taken care of that for you. And I will provide you with the link for New York State PTA. And I encourage you to reach out to your regions to find out, if you don't know already, what their website is, because it'll be more catered to your location. The next item you can use for membership engagement is email marketing. If email marketing is done right, it can be your secret weapon to the most successful member engagement you've had. Luckily for you, on New York State PTA, we've taken care of the monthly membership newsletter that you can use to engage your members through email marketing. It'll have all the membership contest dates. It will have a monthly focus. It'll also talk about some of the things that we have going on with membership and some tips that'll help your membership chair or just your unit to strive this year in membership. Social media. Everybody loves social media. This is going to be the number one place that you will have your membership engagement. Social media is where everybody is at. Your social media presence is where members go for information, event registration, and ultimately membership value. But it takes more than just having a social media handle to encourage member engagement. A little extra TLC is needed here. Specifically, you want to make sure you have an interactive design and fresh content. Well, what does that mean? You want to make sure that you're updating your Facebook page periodically. That could also be something that your historian does for you. And you can make sure that you have your meeting registrations linked here so it's interactive and people get reminders about your PTA meetings. You can also have polls. What movie do we want to run for this event? What do you think kids would like? What would your PTA prefer? These are good places to ask on social media and to get response in real time. Lastly, events. Events is where you get that wonderful face-to-face. You get to see, hopefully we'll be able to see all of our PTAs next year face-to-face at our events. And it's another way to engage your PTA's membership. This could be through PTA training, virtual or in-school events, such as your Boohoo Yahoo breakfasts, which encourage members to come and meet other people in the school. It'll also mean if you have a back to school event or if you have a movie night, which encourages your parents to come out and you'll be able to see each other face to face. Or some members are doing a virtual movie night, which I thought was really interesting. And these are ways that you can get in touch with your membership and keeping them engaged with the things that you do. You want to make sure that you're advertising these events by featuring it in your newsletter if you have one, sending out email blasts through your membership database, posting it on your website if you have one, and promoting it on social media. Now, last but not least, we have our membership contest. I'm going to give you a brief overview. Please keep in mind, we will be updating all this information on our New York State PTA website. It will have all the details to every single one of these contests, but I'm going to go through them very quickly so that we know what we have for this year. In September, we have our Early Bird Award. In this particular award, you need to make at least 60% to your goal number for membership in order to earn this badge. The next contest we have is our Savvy Membership, which is 100% to goal. In October, we have our On Target Award, which is at least 25 paid members. And another one of our new contests is our Trailblazer Award. In order to become a Trailblazer, you need to have had 75% to goal. In November, we have our Student Rocks Award, which is 30% of your members that are students. And lastly, in November, we have our Great PTA Sign-Up Day. In January, we're going to have our Super Teachers Staff Award, which is at least 75% of the employees at your school who are members in order for you to qualify for this particular award. In February, we have our Founders Day, and you'd need to at least get 10 new members in order to qualify. We are so excited about our Great PTA Sign-Up Day. We're going to do it twice. We're going to have another one in February. In March, we have our Male Engagement Award. This is going to be a self-nominating award. In order for you to qualify, you need to have at least 20% of your members be male. And in May, to culminate all of the stuff that you've been doing for membership over the year, we have our Good Apple Membership Growth, which will be awarded in May. If you want to take a look at what we did last year, We have all of our contest information on the link below. I'll give you a minute so that you can see it in the chat box. Membership and retention. This is very important because we've worked so hard to have a membership plan. Through this plan, we were able to get a lot of new members, and now we wanted to keep them engaged. But it's not enough to just engage them for the year that they joined. We want to keep them as members as long as we can. So the first thing you're going to want to do in order for you to complete this task is you're going to want to emphasize the PTA value. Members renew based on the perception of the value of an organization, and our PTA has lots to offer. Keep in mind, the value isn't a one-size-fits-all type of offering, so you want to make sure that you're showing all the ways that PTA can be valuable in your community. You also want to begin your renewal efforts early. Put simply, the sooner you begin your renewal efforts, the better. If possible, you can shoot for at least 3 months prior. The good news is you can start as early as today. You want to make renewals easy. You want to make the capability for your users who are returning to know how they can become a member quickly, which means you want to make sure that you have the link that will make available your members or potential members to know where to go to get your membership. You want to make sure that this link is at least present in some of your printed materials. You've posted it on social media, and the website is easily found with a link for them to renew. If you look at the bottom of this page, I've replaced this link, which is the online search shop link for your local unit. And anyone that clicks on this link will be able to easily find their unit and join their PTA. Last but not least, in order for you to retain the members that you have, you need to make sure you know where they're at and you understand what it is they may need. Despite our best renewal strategies, there will always be members that choose not to renew. To minimize the amount of people that don't renew, you might want to consider sending out a short survey. Our suggestion is to send this out at the end of the year. You're going to want to find out what your PTA family liked so you can enhance that, recreate it, or do it again. And you want to also find out what areas you could improve upon. This way, the following year, you can adjust where needed and update where needed. Take the time to read through these responses, and that way, you can use them to make a better PTA. I'm so happy you had a chance to hear our presentation today. We hope our workshop was informative for you. There is no wrong way to PTA, and we're so excited for what you're getting ready to do this year. Good luck, and if you need any help from us, please feel free to shout out and email us. I will provide my email in the chat box, and happy training.